Privet, Katila, ya ni хорошо, because today we are going to be talking about mass censorship and how to protect free speech on the internet. So this is an issue that is close to my heart, and, it should be a nonpartisan issue, I hope. But to demonstrate how important it is and how essential it is to protect it, I will say that if Trump could only do two things in office, it would be immigration reform and online free speech protection. Currently, as we all know, at the moment there has been, and it has been going on for a while, but there has been a mass deplatforming, banning, demonetizing of mostly people on the right. However, this has affected some on the left and also just strictly non-political YouTubers and social media people as well. The internet has given rise to voices that are essential for debate, discussion, and bringing about ideas that challenge the mainstream narrative, ideas that would have not been allowed in the traditional media structure. But the internet has revolutionized the way individuals may express themselves, and as we know, even change the world. And I think we all agree free speech is a virtue that we all cherish. The pillar of a functioning society is when people have access to wide-ranging information that they may educate themselves on, and it is a true battle of ideologies as people debate, debunk, or just explain their point of view, like I'm doing right now. This ensures that we don't fall into our ideological echo chamber, as we are at constant battling with the others, with each other, and people are exposed to new ideas. If we may express ourselves and debate, we can find the truth. In my times, I've seen, communists, fascists, socialists, reactionaries, monarchists, anarchists, and everything in between. And I've talked with many of these people, and it has made me grow as a person. I've literally been all over this political spectrum. And as I saw new information, check out my political journey video to see that. So I know the value of being sure ideas, concepts, and underprivileged groups can express their concerns and visions on a platform outside the dominant traditional media, which only holds establishment ideas. Yet, in recent months, we have seen an acceleration, through political activism trying to combat so-called hate speech and politically incorrect views, and the higher-ups at these major corporations trying to turn their platform into a sanitized, family-friendly, and advertisement-friendly platform. This all has created a perfect storm to lead to mass deplatforming, demonetizing, and shadow banning. To ensure that the internet remains a place where free speech is upheld and acts simply as a platform where people can upload and express their own opinions and thoughts and can make a living, here's what we can do. So what we can do is to make sure that major social media sites, such as YouTube, Google, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, etc., are treated as a public utility. So it's like, for example, the public electric company, which, while technically privately run by a private corporation, it is essentially a government monopoly. They can't just stop giving you electricity because of your political views or any other reason. And what we can argue is that these massive public online platforms are the modern-day equivalent of the public square, as this is where all the modern debate is taking place, essentially. And thus, First Amendment protections should be extended to it. An example of this is when a federal judge ruled in New York that Donald Trump can't block anyone because it is a public platform and Trump is preventing people from being able to engage with the public space. This ruling actually goes a lot further than what I'm even calling for, as you can still block people and follow whoever you like. It's just that treating these massive social media giants as the new public space, which they are, and not letting them ban, kick off, or shadow ban based on the feelings of these massive social media Silicon Valley mega corporations, and they can only be, kicked off if they violate traditional law, such as like inciting violence, for example. So it would operate essentially the same way as it is now, except the only difference is that in your video or tweet, can't be taken down, or your account can't get suspended because of your ideology, your political ideology. So there'll be no sort of so-called terms of service, to be quite. There'll be no really terms of service in any sort of shape. It will just be a public platform where people, as the new public space, people will do what they want on it as long as it does not hinder the law, or it does not go against the law, I should say. And there should also be clear rules in place to prevent these public spaces from showing discrimination towards any sort of political ideology and trying to hide it, i.e. shadow banning. This should also expand to major credit card companies and revenue-raising companies, or else we risk marching towards a future in which, if you speak the wrong way, you can be cut off from being able to purchase anything or maintain a revenue stream, aka live a modern life. So treating these modern, these companies as public utilities where people can express and engage in whatever fashion they want and seek as long as they don't break the law is the best way we can protect free speech and free assembly. Instead of putting this modern public space into the hands of multinational corporations where people can be kicked off and demonetized based on hate mobs, political activism, or just the feelings of these massive corporations. The government nor massive corporations should not be in charge on how the discussion of the nation is regulated. These massive companies must remain as simply platforms where people can speak their minds. You don't like what someone said? Block them. Or, engage with them and discuss, hopefully. That's what I would say. So I hope you enjoyed my video. Give it a like, and be sure to subscribe and check out my Patreon. Aim high, wander on, from America with Russian love.